All right. So today we're gonna do something a bit different. Something that I've been kind of doing on the side. Not on the side really. It's been the main thing I've been doing, but I've uh been doing political stuff over on TikTok and YouTube. And I haven't really brought it over to the Twitch side of things, and I'm going to be doing that today. So we're gonna watch Trump's interview he did with ABC. I've only watched one clip from it. It just the one clip I saw was crazy. I'm gonna be trying something else new with my stream. I'm gonna have another stream going over on my phone. I'm gonna be over on the TT, if that's you catch my drift there. But yeah, anyways, see, let's check volumes. Like that. User audio. Okay. So is that
from inside the White House?
When you step back in the
okay? Cool. Okay. Looks like we're good to go here on the computer side of things. Let me see if it works on TikTok. I'm not gonna have it like the volume on TikTok because they are very strict about intellectual property. So I'm gonna direct anyone that sees it there to come and watch over here on Twitch or on YouTube. See how this goes. There. I don't know. I don't know how my volume is gonna be over here. Anyway, whatever. Here we go. I'm gonna get this bad boy started. Going over there. Sweet. Okay.
Oval Office after you were reelected.
Right.
What went through your mind? Triumphant when you walked back?
Can I put my headphone like down here?
President Donald J. Trump on his 100th day in office. From the #1 issue, the economy.
People are worried, even some people who voted for you saying, I didn't sign up for this. So how do you answer those concerns?
Well, they did sign up for it, actually.
To immigration.
It is an undeniable fact.
Sounds fine on your phone?
That illegal
Cool.
crossings
Thanks,
at
Brandy.
the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods.
To Elon Musk.
Did DOGE go too far, too fast, too reckless?
And the concerns from many Americans about the impact of tariffs.
Everything's going to be just fine.
President Trump, the first 100 days. The interview in the Oval Office
First
with
100
ABC
days?
News
Oh my
anchor
God.
and senior national correspondent Terry Moran.
Earlier
Anyone
today, I sat down with President
popping in
Trump
here,
in
I'm
the Oval
on
Office for
YouTube
an
and over on
exclusive interview
Twitch.
on his 100th
Come
day
check it out.
of his second term. It was a great opportunity to ask him some wide-ranging questions about the issues that most concern so many Americans. We talked about the economy.
Been the longest 12 years of my
tariffs.
life. Yeah, that's for
We talked
sure.
about immigration and those deportations. And you can see here the White House has put up some posters that they say show some of the violent criminals that have so far been deported. We talked about a lot more as well. The president's answers were provocative, at times combative, and always he was strong in his convictions about his policies. But before we get to the interview, we begin tonight with a look inside.
Started watching this,
the
I'm like,
Oval
no,
Office.
I need
Donald
to
Trump
get a
was
real
transfixed.
reaction to this video.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
God. The Gulf of
This is the
America.
Oval Office.
Why? Oh.
This is the
Before he goes into talking about what's in this office, he says he's got the Gulf of America. Like, why does he need a poster board with an easel to say that says Gulf of America? Like, why does he always have the just something with the Gulf and Florida next to him? It just doesn't make sense. It's so crazy. And the office looks so gaudy. It looks so gaudy. Oh my God. For anyone here on TikTok, I'm over on YouTube watching it. I'm not able to watch it on TikTok. But if you come over to YouTube, you can watch it over there.
Resolute desk, which is really something very spectacular. There's nothing quite like it. And they give you a choice of about 7 different desks, but this is the one I chose. Ronald Reagan had it, FDR had it, a few people had it, but I found it to be the most beautiful.
It is amazing.
This is an amazing space, and amazing maybe architecturally wonderful, but amazing for what it represents. It represents the U.S., and if properly used, a lot of good things can happen.
I see Ronald Reagan over there.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan.
Right to your left.
Being in the Oval Office is very important.
I wonder if that Ronald
See
Reagan
Ronald
portrait
Reagan here.
was always
They
gold,
put him
like
a
around
little
the
bit
edges.
larger. It sort of seemed to fit very nicely. You have Democrats a little bit. You have
Franklin Roosevelt.
Franklin Roosevelt. So you look at that picture and people say, well, what's he doing up there? But look, he was a serious president, whether we like it or not. He was a 4-termer and went through a war. You have Lincoln, you have Washington, but you look over here, that's Monroe, the Monroe Doctrine.
Why is he up there?
I think the Monroe Doctrine was pretty important. That was his claim to fame. Over here, you have the original of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, and of course, you have the Declaration of Independence.
What does it mean to you?
Well, it means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. It's a declaration of unity and love and respect, and it means a lot. And it's something very special to our country.
Lincoln's portrait up there. I'm not familiar with that one, but I think when I'm looking at that famous line in the second inaugural, with malice toward none, with charity toward all.
Well, he was a great president. He went through a lot.
And the Oval Office is always changing between presidents. And
It changes,
that says
yeah,
something.
it does.
What does this say about how you feel about the country and the office?
Well, I think it says I love the country. I mean, I'm putting pictures of presidents up that have never been up, pictures that weren't largely used, and in many cases, great men, in this case men, but great men of great achievement.
And your every detail. This is
that's not what I
your
wanted to say.
office.
I'm a very detailed person. I'm a very clean person. I like cleanliness. I like to see this space be treated properly. I've added a lot to the space in terms of beautification, in terms of modernization. That's
a gallery of presidents.
It really is. It really is. So, and it's an honor to have you people with us.
Mr. President, thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much.
Here in the Oval Office, it's special. 100 days into your second term. So what's the one thing, just one thing, that you think is the most significant thing you've done so far in these 100 days?
Well, I think maybe the border is the most significant because our country was really going bad. They were allowing people to come in from prisons, as you know, and you've heard me say it, but you've heard a lot of people say it. Prisons, mental institutions, gang members, murderers. We had many murders, 11,888, they think. Some murdered more than one person.
11,000
So you had
murderers.
murderers
What?
coming in, you had everybody coming in, and not just South America, from all over the world. They were emptying their prisons into our country. And now it's totally closed down. And you've seen just yesterday, they announced 99.9%. Nobody thought that could happen. And it happened quickly, very quickly. And I think that's very significant. But we're doing other things that are very significant. Results will take a little bit longer because it's one of those, you know, it's complicated. It's many years of trading abuse. We've been abused by other countries for years and years. They laughed at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we're fixing it. And I think that's going to be very, very important. But I
We
would,
have a lot of ground to cover.
yeah, I would really say that the border is so important. You know, just
And
can't
we'll get there.
let that
Immigration,
happen.
huge.
Yeah.
And we're going to get there. But I want to start
Sure.
with the economy, the number one issue for so many people, for just about everybody. It's one of the main reasons that you're back in this office. And now we have this trade war with China that Moody's and other analysts say is going to cost American families thousands of more dollars per year. And there is a lot of concern out there. People are worried, even some people who voted for you saying, I didn't sign up for this. So how do you answer those concerns?
Well, they did sign up for it, actually, and this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We were losing $3 to $5 billion a day on trade. We were losing $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion a year, not sustainable. They were taking advantage of us like they've never. I could have left it that way.
I'd like to see the numbers on us losing the money that he claims that we've been losing. Like, I know that we have a certain debt, but it's, I just want proof. Like, I know that Doge says that they've been giving, like, they've been putting out the numbers, but I want proof. Like, if there's so much fraud and corruption happening, like, why hasn't anyone been arrested? And they say that they're working on getting all of that taken care of and getting people ready and evidence, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
At some point, there would have been an implosion like nobody's ever seen. But I said, no, we have to fix it. I've wanted to do this for many years. You know, I had the best economy during my first term. We had a tremendous economy.
We had an
tremendous
Obama
success.
economy, is what
And
we had.
we did tremendous numbers of tariffs on, we took in a lot of money from tariffs, China in particular, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. We had no inflation, as you know. We had an incredible economy. We're given credit for a great economy. But I said, we have to fix this, otherwise it's just not self-sustaining.
But one of the things you ran on was you'd said you'd bring prices down on day one,
Yeah,
and that
and
it
I
would
have.
happen fast, and that it would happen fast.
I
And
have.
most economists will tell
What
you that
prices?
tariffs
What
will
prices are
raise
down?
prices. So don't your tariffs cut against that promise you made to bring prices down?
No, because I had massive tariffs on China, if you remember, in my first term, and we had essentially no inflation, like around 1% inflation, which is like a perfect number. And then when Biden took over, it went through the roof. It went to probably the worst inflation we've ever had. I mean, we had an inflation nightmare. Now, if you look at what's happening now, we're only there for 100 days, as you say. And in 100 days, we took over. We had bad inflation for 4 years, for 2 years of, especially 2 years of his administration. I would say record-setting like we've never seen. They say 48 years, the worst in 48 years. I say it was much worse than that. Right. So now if you look at what's happened, energy is down. Gasoline hit $1.98 in a few
Where?
states during the last
What
couple
states?
of days. It was
What states are showing $1.98? I don't. Like, all the gas stations I go to around here, Southern Arizona, still $2.90, $3, $3.20. Even in some of the parts of town that are supposed to be the cheaper parts of town, still like $3 a gallon. I would like to know where these cheap prices are at.
$3.50 and $4 and $4.50. But gasoline is way down. When I took over, you remember the big thing with eggs. They hit me the first week. Eggs, 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 like it was my fault. I said, I didn't cause this problem. This problem was caused by Biden. What's the problem with eggs? And they said, they've doubled. And well, eggs are down 87% since I got involved.
A lot of that is
and
bird
by the way,
flu,
and there
right?
were plenty of eggs for Easter, which we just went through. There were plenty of eggs for Easter. They were saying you won't have enough eggs for Easter. My secretary did a fantastic job on eggs. Groceries are down. Everything's down.
Okay.
Interest rates are the same. Interest rates should be down, but we have a Federal Reserve that wants to be stubborn. They want to be
All
cute.
right, we'll get to that. You said something a couple weeks ago that struck me. You said concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices, you said, quote, hang tough.
Hello, tomorrow, Pakistan, India war, boom, boom, bam, bam, bosh, bosh. I'm not paying attention to the Middle East war right now, unfortunately. But thank you for your comment, Egromania.
It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should
Well, I've
expect,
said
some
that.
hard times?
I've said
because
that
of
during
these
my
tariffs?
campaign. Look, we won a campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. You know, we had a tremendous
wasn't a
campaign.
lot.
I said all these things
It
during
wasn't
my
a lot.
campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're
But
not going to
hard
let that
times?
happen.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I
Hang
think
tough.
great times are ahead. Look, since I came in, gasoline is down, groceries are down, egg prices are down, many things are down, just about everything.
The fact that he hangs, he always hangs on the thing that people are most critical of him on, like eggs. He hangs on to that for so long. He said everything, the elections, COVID, he'll hang on all of it, saying that he's given a bad rap for all of these things, but it's he's so sup, Egro? I'm doing good, man. How are you? How are you?
You know, you don't have the drop in fuel and energy and oil like we did. I took it from maybe $3.20, maybe more than that, down into a much lower number. When you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
Not now, but it's the
Mad at me.
tariffs, right? We still have 145% tariffs on
why
China.
is it
Your
that-
Treasury Secretary said we basically have an
Fine.
embargo on China.
Look, you're
and
trying
that-
to say something's going to happen,
no,
Terry.
No, okay, well,
nothing's going to happen.
You know business. I
Terry,
want to ask you.
Terry,
I want to ask
I
you.
do know business.
Yes,
and
so 145% tariffs on China, and that is
That's good.
basically
That's
an
good.
embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on
They
everything from
deserve it.
electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to
That's
eat
mathematics.
it. China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion a year. They were ripping us off like nobody's ever ripped us off. And by the way, we have other countries that were just as bad. If you look at the European Union, it was terrible what they've done to us. Every country, almost every country in the world was.
And why'd he
ripping
walk
us off.
back?
They're not doing that anymore.
I want you to think about the boom
Get
that
outta
this
here,
country's had
dude.
in small businesses, mom and pop Etsy stores, small businesses that
Really?
became
They
big
haven't had a
businesses.
boom because of inflation.
Well,
the
no,
boom,
what
the
they've
boom
done-
was inflationary boom. The people were wiped out with inflation. I mean,
Yes.
you read the news, you
Yes.
do the business
now
stuff,
they
I
face,
assume.
Now, a lot of them built those businesses on the trading model.
Yeah, and they're gonna
before
make
you.
more money
They
now.
sourced their products overseas, and now they're looking at an extinction
I've been
event.
here.
It's a disaster for them.
I've been here for 3 months. I've taken a trade deficit down to a number that's very, very starting to get really good. I just got here. We had a country that it was not sustainable, what Biden did to this country, between the open borders where criminals poured into our country, between every country in the world ripping us off on trade. It was not sustainable.
So your message to those small businesses.
Trump out agent or elephant, just our salon. I'm not sure what that means, Egro. Um, 145% tariffs is essentially an embargo, because who is gonna want to do business? Good elephant out. Who's gonna want to do business with us if we're gonna be charging them so much money? They're not gonna want to. It's I get it. We want to keep our economy strong and not get ripped off um by these other countries, but it's just so and I was saying this, like, when he first started talking about tariffs, like, why not build up the infrastructure that we're and show that we can produce these products in America before we get rid of the source of all of our manufacturing, the materials, and all that. Like, if we have so much money invested already, why not just wait, build everything up, build the factories, get the jobs going, and then do tariffs? Make the companies come back after the tariffs have been put, like, after the buildings have been put in place. It's just so backwards, and it's just so it's just backwards. God, it's so frustrating.
Who are saying we can't live a month, 2 months with these tariffs. Apple got a big deal. Is there something for them?
No, not only Apple. We've got $7 to $8 trillion being invested in our country in 2 months. Biden didn't have that over a year. I mean, if you look at Biden, nobody was really investing in this country. Everybody was ripping off our country. Apple's putting up $500 billion, but that's only one of many companies.
$500 billion
are flooding into our country right now.
So your answer to the concern about the tariffs is everything's going to be hunky-dory?
Everything's going to be just fine. It wouldn't have been if I didn't do this. I had a choice. I could leave it, have a nice, easy time, but I think ultimately you would have had an implosion. Our country had inflation that was worse than they've ever had it before. You don't mention that. Why don't you mention that? We had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. People say 48 years. Probably in the history of our country, we had the worst inflation. And people were dying over the inflation. You know that. Now the grocery prices are coming down, the energy prices are coming down, gasoline's coming down. It's all heading in the right direction.
Okay.
It is heading in the right direction, but, like, it's not
Coming up.
It is an undeniable
right. We can't just pull all these factories out of our butt, and we're going to need things from other countries to even start that process. Exactly. We can't, like, America is a great country, and we can do great things because of partnerships, because of working with other countries. And no one's gonna want to work with us except for what, Russia, North Korea? Do we really want to work with them? Russia, who the reason that one of the reasons I think that Russia wants, like, Ukraine and more of Europe is because a majority of Russia is uninhabitable. Like, he's got all that land, but it's not, you can't live there. And they're probably not going to be great partners. And then I don't know. China just seems like they are a good partner. And we're able to send our work over there, have the work done for a little bit cheaper, which is crazy, because don't we want things to be done cheaply? I don't know. Forgot to plug my phone. Although I don't know if the streaming on the TikTok part of it work. Congratulations on May 1st. Happy spring and Labor Day. Our Labor Day is in September. Thank you for the May 1st. I think we're having a protest tomorrow that I'm thinking about going to, possibly, maybe. I don't know. This news, a bit more of this. But yeah, this interview isn't as off the rails as I thought it would be. Like compared to what people have been saying. Oh my god, I didn't even see this. The likes to dislikes. So YouTube has their likes and well, they have their dislikes hidden. But there is an extension on Chrome that you can install to be able to see the dislikes. And for this interview, there is 8,400 likes and 15,000 dislikes. And I know that, like, I know a lot of people are probably going to say about this interview is like, that was a bunch of gotcha questions. No, these are not gotcha questions. These are very simple questions so far. It's just Trump doesn't know how to answer them properly. Is that the gotcha? Is that he doesn't know how to answer things? Is that why it's a gotcha? No, I don't know.
Fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods.
Oh. Hold on.
President Trump, the first 100 days.
Is this
continues.
an ad within the video?
Okay, let's move on to immigration. And as you said, it is an undeniable fact that
What's up,
illegal
Nick?
crossings at the southern border
How's it going,
have
man?
plummeted, a staggering
Long time.
decline. But there are questions about your methods. And so I want to ask
About my message?
Methods, about your methods, how you're
They
accomplishing
seem to
this.
work.
Do you acknowledge that under our law, every single person who gets deported gets a hearing first to make their case?
Well, are we talking about people that are citizens of our country or not?
No, you're not deporting citizens at this point.
Well, let me ask you, did they get hearings when Biden allowed 21 million, because I think the number's 20 million people to flow into our country? You had 21 million people that came into our country through a stupid open border, and they were prisoners, and they were people that you don't want in many cases in our country, right? They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo. They came from South. They came from all over the world. We're talking about some of the roughest countries in the world they had here, including terrorists, by the way. Now,
But the
did
law-
we give them a hearing when they came in?
I'm gonna just touch on this real quick. In terms of getting a hearing when they come in, like when people come into the country, they're supposed to set up like a hearing to be able to get amnesty or be able to become a citizen or become a temporary citizen or something like that. And during Biden's term, Congress and the House, they tried to pass a law talking like to fund it so that this process could go by a lot quicker, but they just kept on like not going through with it because Trump said, you fix the border, you ruin everything for me, essentially is what he told them. So the fix was there. They wanted to fix the issue. It's just that the Republicans wouldn't do it because Trump told them not to. And sorry, that was just
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well,
you acknowledge that?
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this. If you're going to have 21 million people, and if we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, we're going to have to act fast. We can't.
many.
Do you think we can give 21 million trials? Let's say each trial takes 2 weeks. Is that what you want us to
The
do?
law
Give
is the
21
law,
million?
sir. The law is the law, and you're
The law
sworn
doesn't
to
say anything
uphold it.
about trials.
No, not trials, hearings. I said
These
hearings.
people came in, they're not citizens. They came in illegally. They came into our country illegally.
And
We
there's-
have to get them out.
There's a legal process for that.
I can't, sure, and we follow the legal process. I can't have a trial, a major
I'm
trial
not
for
saying
every
major.
person that came in illegally. We have thousands of murderers that came in They're going to murder people. They already have murdered people in our country.
Right, so
we have to get them out.
they're
And we have to
bad
get them
guys.
out
Do you know how
fast.
many
Really
white
bad
people
guys,
do
but
that?
in our country, even
The
bad
same.
guys get due process, right?
If people come into our country illegally, there's a different standard. These are illegal. They came in illegally.
But they get due process.
Well, they get a process where we have to get them out. Yeah.
Okay, let's
That's
talk about
not
the
what he
Venezuelans.
said.
Whatever my lawyers say.
Right. All right,
Whatever
let's talk
my
about the
lawyers
Venezuelans.
say.
He deported more than 200 Venezuelans to that prison in El Salvador. You say they're violent, they're gang members, they're terrorists. Many of them don't have a criminal
are,
record
by the way.
at all.
Well,
but I want to.
I'm not so sure about that. If you
wanna-
take a look,
I wanna
When
read you something,
Excuse
if I-
me. When you look at those people, they were violent people. They were violent people.
But many of them don't have a criminal record
Go
at this
ahead.
point.
I don't-
So
I don't-
I want
that's
to read
what you
some.
say.
Well, it's based
Go
on
ahead.
their lawyer, what their lawyers
Go
have
ahead.
said. Okay.
Go ahead.
Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump
Rogan.
supporter, about the deportation of Venezuelans. He said, quote, rounding up gang members and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, he said it was dangerous, and added, quote, we got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters.
Okay.
Is Joe Rogan right?
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
We want to be careful, and we are careful. We're doing something that has to be done.
I think that they have already become monsters. Like when Trump first, like on inauguration day, I was like, okay, this sucks. Things are gonna suck. I don't know. I didn't think it would be this bad. I didn't think they would deport people the way they have and sensationalizing it the way they have. Like the fact that I know that you can easily take video and pictures with a phone and make it look cinematic, but the videos that the White House was putting out of showing the people being deported, loaded onto the plane, unloaded off the plane, with their heads down with bags over their head, I get it. If these people were violent people, and they were able to prove that they were violent, and not just that some government said these people are violent. That's not what we need. We need proof, actual proof, and them making those videos, making the AI animated like the comics of like people crying and laughing about it. They think they are so funny. How can a people who claim to be Christians, Catholics, whatever, treat another human so poorly? Not even, and it's, I think it's that they don't see them as humans, which is sad. And this administration has become the monsters that they claim that they're not. Oh my God. Okay. Chill out. Let's just chill out.
We have a country that's very sick. Joe Biden, and it's not him because I don't even think he knew what the hell was happening, but the people around him are vicious people. And what they've done to the country is unbelievable. They've allowed 21 million people to pour into our country. Many of these people are criminals. They've allowed you mentioned Venezuela, the jails of Venezuela to be emptied into the United States. Do you know Venezuela crime is way down? Way, way down. You know why? Because their criminals are now living happily in the United States of America, and we're getting them out. And I was elected to get them out, and we're getting them out.
Under the law. It
And
sounds
we're
like-
getting them out fast, and we're getting them out legally. Now,
Okay. Venezuela is releasing their prisoners into the United States, and so it is safer now. He does keep saying the same things over and over. He really does. So So Venezuela is safer now because they don't have criminals in their prisons. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what he is trying to say here?
Now, in some cases, we have judges. In some cases, they're radical left judges. What happened the other day where a judge was protecting a criminal was horrible. And I think she's got big problems, frankly. And there are a couple of them like that.
I want to talk about one
Wait
man.
a minute.
Yep.
We have to be treated fairly by judges. And we're not being treated fairly by all judges.
Oh, that's a subject. So you're saying that you don't like some of the rulings, some of the court orders?
I think the rulings will be overturned, yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you about one man and one court order. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him to facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us, should not have said that, and just so you understand, the person that you're talking about, you know, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from Maryland.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
He came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
ordered
not.
you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he is.
Supreme Court says what the law is.
Listen, I was elected to...
Do you... Okay, so there was the meeting that they had when Bukele was in Washington, and when it was, I believe it was when Caitlin Collins from CNN got the beat down that they claim that they did on her by Stephen Miller. But before Stephen Miller started talking, there was a point where Pam Bondi said, if El Salvador will release him, we have a plane ready. We can bring him back. And then Bukele responds, I'm not going to smuggle a gang member into the United States. But like, there's a court order. There are rules that they have said that need to be done. They've told the Trump administration they need to bring him back. Pam Bondi said that she can do it. She has the transportation. It's just up to Bukele to get him out. And then there was the one senator who went down there, and it's fine. It's not fine.
Take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, a great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying what a mistake they made. A man who was grossly incompetent allowed us to have open borders where millions of people flowed in. I campaigned on that issue. I wouldn't say it was my #1 issue, but it was pretty close.
Right up there.
I campaigned on that issue. I've done an amazing job. I have closed borders. He said you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would never happen. Well, it happened, and it happened very quickly. Wait a minute. When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over that.
wait a minute. He had MS-13.
I'm going to pause it right here because which is making me run an ad here in a minute. So the clip that's about to play is the clip that I have seen many times. I've made a few videos about it. Oh my god. So I can't believe this. Like it says MS-13 on his knuckles because they used Microsoft Paint to put it on his knuckles to show that the marijuana leaf, the skull, the cross, and the or no. Was it the leaf? I don't remember what the second one. The last one was a skull, and for some reason that means 3. I don't know. Oh my god, this is like it was literally just a Photoshop of the letters and the numbers on his knuckles, and it just doesn't. And I posted a video. I posted a short online. Got one on YouTube and on TikTok. But my YouTube algorithm of like followers isn't I don't want to say curated, but I'm not getting like liberals and Democrats and progressives on my YouTube. I'm getting like MAGA people, and it's probably because I'm labeling I'm using like the Trump and the MAGA hashtags, but the people are like, I'm a tattoo artist and you're dumb. I'm like, what? Like anyone that has tattoos on their hands, they will like they wear away really quick. Like even if especially if they're like on like the insides, like those wear away. I remember I knew someone that had a the mustache tattoo, and she had to get that touched up quite a few times. And it's just, what are you doing, Twitch? Are you running an ad? Are you? They think they're real? Yeah, they think that the MS-13 was real. Like it was actually tattooed on him. He went in and asked for Arial font to be tattooed onto his knuckles. Like what? What? Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna. I don't think Twitch is gonna make me run an ad. I turned off the ads. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, on his knuckles tattoo.
Oh, he had some tattoo.
And then they looked, and on his knuckles he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattoo.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
Yeah, that was Photoshop. So let me
That was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey,
You can't do that, Terry.
You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry.
I'm laughing so I don't cry.
Very nice.
You know,
MS-13
so I don't
tattoo.
yell.
Agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
You want me to show you the picture?
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No, Terry.
He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
Why no one believes
in
Trump?
El Salvador, they
Oh
aren't
my
there.
God.
But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't
a look
there,
at the
but they're
photograph.
there now, right?
No,
but
they're in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got
Ukraine,
MS-13
sir.
on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
It's you do
We'll take a
such a
look at that.
disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say yes, he does?
Why don't you just say
go on to
yes?
something else.
Why don't you just say yes like everybody else says yes to me? Why are you so combative? Like, that is one of the biggest issues with Trump, is that he has people who will just enable him, and they won't question him, because if they question him, they're going to get fired. He has a long list of people that no longer work under him, and it's just, that's what he likes to do. He likes to fire people. You're fired. Like, and so if you don't bow down, then he's gonna let you go. And he doesn't like that this guy is actually questioning him. And it's, if any, I want to say, if I were in Trump's shoes, which I don't think I would ever be able to be in Trump's shoes, I would be happy if someone was questioning me on the things I did. People need to be called out for their bullshit. They really do. Because if someone doesn't get called out for their bullshit, they're going to keep on doing stupid shit. And they're going to be assholes. That's the best way I could think to put it. Like, he's so mad at Terry for questioning him. Like, just say yes. Just say that it did say MS-13. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Oh my god.
Ukraine.
Coming up, the Russia-Ukraine war.
You
Ukraine.
think he wants peace? You think Vladimir Putin wants peace?
And that historic meeting.
I
President Trump, the first
I was
100 days
tempted.
continues.
Honestly, Ben Shapiro, real quick. Ben Shapiro did an interview with Zelensky. It's like 2 hours long though. I was debating watching that on stream. But I don't know. Ben Shapiro is so insufferable. I don't know if I'd be able to, you know. But we'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow yet. So
I was just in Rome, and to that moving photograph of you and President Zelensky sitting in St. Peter's Basilica talking peace. It went around the world.
Sure.
Take us into that moment.
Well, look, the Ukraine is a very serious, very tough situation. And this is Biden's war. This is not my war. But I want to see if I can solve it, because probably close to 5,000 young soldiers a week are being killed, Russian and Ukrainian. We also spend a tremendous amount of money in Ukraine, and Europe should be spending much more than us. They're not. They're spending much less. It's been badly handled by the Biden administration. It's been badly handled all the way around, the way around.
That moment.
The moment was a moment of solace, in a sense, because tremendous numbers of people are dying. A lot of his people are dying. They're being killed. And I feel very badly about it. I feel very badly about it. That's a war that would have never happened if I were president. And it didn't happen for 4 years. It was never even a thought of it happening.
It does feel like something's happening after that meeting with Zelensky in St. Peter's. You posted this on social media. There was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas and cities and towns over the last few days. It makes me think that maybe...
Well, that was part of my post, but you're right. That was a part of a post.
And it says, it
You're
makes
paraphrasing
me
me.
think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along.
Yeah, that's possible. Sure.
He might be...
that's possible.
He
Yeah.
could be tapping me along a little bit. I would say that he would like to stop the war. I think that if it weren't for me, I think he'd want to take over the whole country, personally. I always felt. So when I left, there wasn't even a chance that this would happen. When Biden got involved, I won't say whether or not he handled it properly, but obviously it wasn't good because the war started. Putin went in, the war started. I believe that Putin wanted to get all of Ukraine once he went in. And I think part of the reason he went in, he saw what happened in Afghanistan, how incompetently Milley and all these guys handled that. It was one of the greatest embarrassments of our lifetimes, but maybe in the history of our country. Okay, so Putin went in. I think Putin wanted all of Ukraine.
Right.
I think if I didn't win the election, he would have gotten all of Ukraine. I think he would have taken all of Ukraine. I think his first choice, never with me, he would have never gone in. With this group of losers, he went in, he saw what happened in Afghanistan. He said, wow, this is my chance. Because it was always the apple of his eye. I talked to him. Ukraine was the apple of his eye. I think he wanted the whole country.
You've said for months
because of me,
He
I
wants
do
the entire
believe
country.
that
Yeah.
he's willing to stop the fighting. Don't
You
forget,
think he wants
this
peace?
is a,
You think Vladimir Putin wants peace?
I think he does, yes. I think
Still?
he does. I think
Even with
because
the
of me,
raining missiles
I
on?
think he really, his dream was to take over the whole country. I think because of me, he's not going to do that.
Do you trust
I
him?
think-
Do you trust him?
I don't trust you. I don't trust.
I don't trust
the-
you.
I don't trust
Fucking-
you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview.
I am
And then
happy.
you start hitting me with fake questions. You start telling.
If every criticism of Donald Trump is fake news, if everything he has seen is the greatest thing he has ever seen, it's the worst thing he's ever seen. These questions, he says, you come in here with all your questions, then you hit me with the fake questions. Oh my god, I think we're losing brain cells from this. Like, it's, yes, maybe, probably, but it's also good because for the same reason that I stay on Twitter, is so that I'm ready so I'm not taken aback when I hear the crazy thing that they say, that the argument that they try to use against me, or they try to praise Donald Trump or what have you, because it's just so easy to debunk them with the things that they say, and you can see it and be like, that doesn't sound right. Look it up, debunk it, and then when someone hits you with it, like in the wild, in the real world, or you see it again later on, you can say, that's actually fake. That's false. That's not real. Like, it's that a lot of Trump supporters are not going to watch this interview because they're going to hear, oh, it was a gotcha interview. That's all it was. It was a gotcha interview. He hit him with all these questions that were just not fair and made Donald Trump look stupid. He made himself look stupid. That's what he did. He made himself look stupid. So, well, yes, we are losing brain cells. It is good to have the knowledge, at least. We only got 15 minutes of this left, plus my interruptions.
Whose hand is covered with a tattoo doesn't have the tattoo, you know.
He doesn't.
You're being dishonest.
He doesn't.
No, I am not. I don't trust a lot of people, but I do think this. I think that let's say he respects me, and I believe because of me, he's not going to take over the whole. But his decision, his choice would be to take over all of Ukraine. Okay. It's a war that never should have happened. It did happen because of incompetent people.
Last question on this.
But it never should have happened.
If there's no peace deal, will the U.S. cut off military aid to Ukraine?
I don't want to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you whether or not I would or not. I want to leave that as a big fat secret because I don't want to ruin a negotiation. But
I'd be worried
I will tell you, I was not happy when I saw Putin shooting missiles into a few towns and cities, and that was not something that I like seeing. And
I'm going to show you guys. I want to turn an ad blocker on. There's this website. It's called Live Universal Awareness Map. Let me see if oh. Okay, never mind then. I'm just gonna show the screen. Gonna show here for me. Yes, it is. Okay. This is a map of the Ukraine and Russia area. Sorry for the ads. All of these red marks are conflicts that have happened just today. Just today. These are reported conflicts. Let's say in the past 24 hours. All these red ones are all reported conflicts. This blue one, it's a Ukrainian. Looks like someone was killed from a drone attack. This is Ukraine. Let's see, the government of Ukraine has adopted decisions necessary for the signing of an agreement between Ukraine and the United States on the establishment of a reconstruction investment fund. I can't look at. I don't know what Telegram. But yeah, so this is a map of every single conflict that has happened. You want to get real crazy with it? I'm gonna go to April 1st. More conflicts. Constant conflict. Russia is attacking Ukraine. Ukraine is defending itself. I don't know what people aren't seeing here. Russia is the aggressor. Ukraine is defending itself. This.
I thought it was inappropriate, but I think the whole war is inappropriate. Okay. Again, it's a war that shouldn't have happened. This is a war that if the election weren't rigged, and it was totally rigged, the 2020 election, if it weren't rigged, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have had the embarrassment of Afghanistan. You wouldn't have October 7th with Israel. You wouldn't have had any of the problems that you have right now.
I want to ask one question.
And you wouldn't have had inflation either.
All right. I want to ask one question about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. There's a lot of turmoil at the Pentagon right now. There's the signal chat with his wife on it where he's discussing that attack in Yemen. There's another signal chat discussing the attack on Yemen. There's a reporter accidentally involved. You said the other day that you had a talk with the secretary. Did you take him to the woodshed?
I had a talk with him, and whatever I said, I probably wouldn't be inclined to tell you.
He doesn't remember what he said.
We had a good talk.
He has no idea what he said.
He's young, he's smart, highly educated, and I think he's going to be a very good hopefully a great defense secretary, but he'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in
I don't have 100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
it's a pretty important position.
No. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
We will.
Oh my God. We will.
Coming up, President Trump on Elon Musk and Doge.
Oh, here we
Doge go too far, too fast, too recklessly?
President Trump, the first 100 days continues.
Elon Musk and Doge. Everyone knows that there's wasteful government spending. It's really important. But the cuts have had some serious consequences. There have been cuts to foreign aid programs that save lives and keep people alive overseas. There's been research at the National Institutes of Health on cancer, on Alzheimer's, that has had to be stopped. And the question I think people have is, did Doge go too far, too fast, too reckless?
No, I think Doge has been, saved $150 billion. We saved, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
There's also a lot of things right now under investigation, which is going to increase that amount by a lot. That's a tremendous amount of money. There are some things where, when I heard about them, I put them back, as you know. There are things that I'm considering right now putting back, but overall we've saved hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, the
I mean,
original
it's
promise was
amazing.
$2 trillion, went to $1 trillion, now to 150
Well, I
billion,
don't
and
know.
heading
You don't know
south.
what it's going to be because we have things that are at a very high level that are being looked at right now. We also found tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse, as you know. We found a lot of fraud. There was a lot of fraud. Fraudulent things were taking place, and we ended that, and those people are going to be suffering because of it.
A legal note fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been
How do you
referrals
know
to the?
that?
Are there
Why,
criminal
how
referrals?
would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally, all right, there's
Okay.
been no investigation from the
How do
Justice
you know
Department.
Hold on,
I'm
hold on,
asking
hold
you,
on,
sir.
hold on, hold on.
To the-
I need to
legal note fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the
A lot
Justice.
of fraud.
Okay, let's look at the color of his face right now. So like it's pretty orange, yes it is.
Things were taking place, and we ended that, and those people are going to be suffering because of it.
A legal note fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been
How do you
referrals
know
to the?
that?
Are there
Why,
criminal
how
referrals?
would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like he's getting upset. Like his face is getting red. Like the red is peeking through the orange.
All right, there's been no investigation from the
How do
Justice
you know
Department.
that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
Now I'm
me.
asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There
Now
have
I'm
been.
asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the work
Of
of
course
the
there have
judge.
been. Take a look at some of these
All right,
things that
all
took
right,
place.
all right.
Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever. Of
Okay.
course there have
I want to
been.
bring up what is truly one of, to a lot of people, one of the biggest achievements of your first term. That is Operation Warp Speed. You got that COVID vaccine up and
That's right.
going and distributed, and a lot of people took it, and a lot of people feel their lives have been saved by it. Now we have this measles outbreak, biggest in a decade in Texas, and it's because people aren't getting their children vaccinated. Do you recommend to parents that they get their children vaccinated for measles?
Well, I recommend the governors to make the decisions. You have a very talented governor of Texas.
He's changing shades a
and
bit
he's
there.
making
Yeah.
decisions, and those decisions are going to be made rapidly. This is a very much different thing than COVID in terms of rapidity and speed and other things. Measles have been with us a long time, and I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying that the governors are making the decision. It's a federalist
Sir,
decision.
the president is our leader in so many ways, and your voice counts so much, and you can't tell moms and dads, yeah, it's a good thing to get a measles
Do
vaccine.
I recommend it?
Yes.
I do.
Okay.
I recommend it, yeah.
Got it. That
Do
was
I
my
mandate
question.
it? No.
No, I didn't
But I
ask.
do recommend it, yes.
Good. Do you think you're...
And I have recommended it.
Do you think the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has a history of, at the very least, vaccine skepticism, do you think Kennedy recommends the measles
He
vaccine?
did. He did. He recommended it. Yeah, he did. He
You
recommended
satisfied
it.
with his...
Yeah, I mean, he
response on this?
recommended that they go out and get the vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still ahead.
I'm asking the justification for going after people you don't like.
President Trump.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the Elon Musk and Doge a little bit, just because the huge promises that Elon had made about like how much money and waste and fraud that he was going to find, like it's like he said, started at 2 trillion, down to 1 trillion, then down to 150 billion, and it's just going lower. Like they're not gonna find a lot of like fraud and abuse and waste, like they said, because the problem with Elon Musk is he likes to overpromise and underdeliver at first, because he wants to find out, like, so when he was working on some of his cars, what he would do is he would cut out as many parts as he possibly could to make it so that it'd be as cheap as possible. And then he would add when it didn't work out, he would add 10% of those parts back. And just no rhyme or reason. He would just add those things back. And so what Elon Musk did to our government, I'm not even going to just pick out USAID, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, the IRS, just our government in general. What he did is very similar to how he built his cars, how he built his spaceships, his trucks. He's not, he is a smart man, but he experiments too much. And I get it. We need to experiment, and that is the progressive side of me saying it, but it's not it. You need to experiment with regulation, like within regulations. Like it's just, you can't. Why can't you just say it the first time? Same for the referrals to the DOJ. Why do you have to be like, how do you know they didn't? Instead of just saying, yeah, we did. Like seriously. Him, it's like, you can tell, like, with that shade, the change of the shade of his face there, when he said, how do you know that? How do you know that? It made it seem like the person, and this is just me just guessing, it made it seem like the person that told him that there were charges brought up or sent to the DOJ or referred to the DOJ, it made it sound like that person who told him that, he's like questioning things about them, because Donald Trump has moles within his administration, for sure. And that's pretty great. But it's like he was like questioning, like, how do you know that? Like, did somebody tell you that? Is someone feeding you information? Like the conspiracy theorist that Trump is kind of a lot. He's just like, why? How do you know that? And the red in his face. It was very telling, very, very telling. It was a really good point, Will Wayne. Winnie Wine. I don't know. Randy.
The first 100 days continues.
I want to talk a little bit about presidential power, the powers that you have in the presidency temporarily that the American people have given you.
Paranoia.
Right? You've revoked a lot of people's security clearances. You've revoked people's security details who are still threatened, with death threats. You've gone after law firms because they've employed people you don't like, or
touch on the removing security details. So Laura Loomer, a witch of a woman. She is awful, terrible. She is probably one of the worst people in the world. She is incredibly racist, and she does a lot of investigating. And so she's very good at her job, but she's using it for evil. She's using it for good in her eyes and her followers' eyes, but Hunter Biden and his wife were in Africa on vacation, and they had a Secret Service detail. And she found out that they had that. She had a connection down there who was taking pictures and sent that information to Donald Trump to have his security detail removed. Joe Biden's son, the former president's son, had his Secret Service detail taken away by Donald Trump because of Laura Loomer. And yeah, she's uncovering a lot of stuff for their side. But she's also just a terrible human being. Terrible. terrible. She had posted on Twitter the other day talking about how, is it even worth it anymore? No one even pays attention to me. And I'm like, yes, she's collapsing. The collapse of Laura Loomer is coming. And then the next day she posts, oh, thank you so much, everyone, for reaching out. I appreciate it. I don't think she sounded that happy, but she's such a terrible human. Terrible.
The details who are still threatened, with death threats. You've gone after law firms because they've employed people you don't like, or they have represented people you don't like.
They obviously agreed because they paid me a lot of money.
Well, the reason they agreed is because you were threatening to destroy their business with your executive order that said you can't represent clients for the federal government. That's their bread and butter.
Boys. These are the biggest, most powerful lawyers. These are not people
you got a lot of leverage
are easily intimidated.
As president, you've got all the cards.
They paid hundreds of millions of dollars. Because
that line. He said.
These are the biggest, most powerful lawyers. These are not people
you got a lot of leverage
are easily intimidated.
As president, you've got all the cards.
You have a lot of leverage. As president, you have all the cards. That is almost exactly what he said to Zelensky when Zelensky was visiting the White House. He's like, you don't have the cards here. We have the cards. Oh my. I love this guy. I love this. Was it Terry? What's his last name? Oh no. Oh no. His name's Terry.
They paid hundreds of millions of dollars because they felt, I guess, they probably felt they did something wrong.
It was for survival, sir.
No, it isn't.
You're crushing their business.
These firms are very powerful firms, and there's 15 of them, and these are firms that probably, look, you have to ask them. In fact, this is a separate story. You have to ask them, why did you all pay Trump hundreds of millions of dollars in services, etc.? Why did you do that? I don't know.
You don't think that
we have a clause in the thing that while we admit no wrongdoing, but it's like one of those things. And now I'm friendly with those firms, but it's these are the most powerful firms in the world, and they just signed whatever I put in front of them. I've never seen anything like it. I'm actually surprised myself.
Never seen anything like it.
But they obviously felt they probably did something wrong. I guess that's why they signed.
I guess the question out of that is the concern that people have. Are you using your powers as president to get personal revenge?
No, I'll tell you what you're really not asking, and you should be asking. There has never been a president in this country, in the history, that was persecuted like I was persecuted by really crooked people, dishonest, horrible people, and it's been proven. So when you say I'm treating people rough, I'm not treating people rough. I was treated worse than any president in the history of our country. And, people figured, well, maybe that's it. Finally, we got, he's leaving town. There goes the helicopter. And then I came back. And I came back because I have tremendous support. When you win an election like I won it, and you will admit I won all 7 swing states. I won the popular vote.
That's suspicious.
2,750 districts compared to 500 districts. That's why the map is all red. And those people feel that I was treated unfairly.
But does that give you...
Just to touch on that, everyone is so mean to me. Yeah, everyone is. It's the victim complex. It's Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know I can't say George Santos because the man is a pathological liar. Suspicious as hell. Yeah, definitely. Like it. A president hasn't won all 7 swing states since Ronald Reagan. 40 years ago. 40 years. An entire lifetime. Like half a lifetime. Like it. And also, another suspicious thing, no districts or counties were flipped from red to blue. And that has never happened. There have always been at least like some counties that have flipped from red to blue. And there were not any. You cannot tell me, with all the people that are coming out and going to protests, posting online, and I know the internet is nothing but an echo chamber. Like me streaming right now is just an echo chamber. I'm just yelling and it's just bouncing back at us. But I went to a Bernie and AOC rally 2 months ago, and I went to the April 5th protests, and there were so many people at both of those. And you're gonna tell me that a red district, not one red district, didn't flip blue? Come on, it's too suspicious. It's
the right to go after
almost
your
done with
political
this.
opponents with the powers of this office.
I'm going after. All I'm doing. Hey, Biden did something to me, and I did something to Biden. And you know why I did it? Because he's grossly incompetent. That's not a man that should be allowed to, be looking at things that are very confidential.
But what about
because he
there's
didn't?
71
Here's a
people
man
you
that used
revoked
an auto pen to sign very important
Use an auto
documents.
pen.
Now,
Oh, no.
Who really is? Do you think he knew that they were using an auto pen? I mean, he used an auto pen to sign very, very important documents. And so those are really the questions you should be asking. What do you think of the auto pen? Who wielded the auto pen? Because whoever that person was, think of it, whoever the person that wielded the auto pen, he was really the president of the United States. Because
You are
I
the
don't think,
president, right.
I don't think that Biden knew anything about it.
Fair enough. But you are the president now, and
Yeah.
I'm asking the justification for going after people you don't like.
No.
There
People that
isn't.
I think are dishonest. It's not that I don't even know most of them. They're people that I
These
think
people
are
made you
dishonest.
angry.
No, it's not anger. These are people that I think are very dishonest. I don't think they're worthy of being able to go into top secret information. I think that's fine. And Biden did that with many of our people. But when you look at it, these are people that I don't think are worthy. That's my decision. It's not a question of anger.
Okay. I understand you just had a phone call with the new Canadian premier, and they just had this election.
Yeah.
You were a big issue in it, and Canadians, many of them, are really angry, furious about your talk about we're going to take over Canada, it's going to become the 51st
That's their
state.
prerogative.
And it kind of is of a piece. A lot of travel is down into the United States from around the world. It
We're doing
feels
great.
like there's been reputational
The country's
damage.
doing great.
Well,
Prices are down.
not the tourism.
Gasoline's down. Energy's down. Tourism is going to be way up. Wait till you see the numbers. The tourism is.
I know we only got 2 minutes left of this, but I have family members who work in kind of hospitality, and a lot of their the people who come and visit are from Canada, and they usually stick around until probably about this time of year, maybe till the end of May. But she told me that they don't have as many reservations from Canadians, and she's had Canadians say, "Oh, we're just not going to be able to make it down there." And I'm sure that they don't want to say it's because of Trump, because they don't know who's on the other line. They don't know what kind of reaction they're going to get, because when you are critical of Trump to a Trump supporter, and I know that Biden or Kamala supporters can be I don't want to say the same way, but they get defensive. But when you are critical of Donald Trump to a Trump supporter, they will defend him to the ends of the earth until they get so frustrated that I don't want to talk about this anymore. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of Canadians who are very nice people. They just don't want to stir the pot and say, "Oh, it's because of your president." I wish they would, though. I really wish they would. I really wish they would. So yeah, tourism is definitely down, and if tourism is up based on his numbers, those numbers are cooked. He made those numbers up, And yeah, I don't think that I don't think tourism is gonna show as up. I've heard that Las Vegas tourism is down, and like Las Vegas is probably one of the bigger places that Canadians go to. I remember when I was a kid, I met a couple of Canadian kids at one of the places that you could go to as a kid. I was like, "Where are you guys from?" They're like, "Oh, we're from Canada." I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Tucson." They're like, "Where's that?" Like, they know Las Vegas. They know New York City. They know Hollywood. They know. It's just like how if you asked your average American to label every single territory or part of Canada, they would not be able to. I can't. I know British Columbia is on the left. That's it. That's where my geography of Canada ends. All right, almost done with this. There might be another video I want to watch. I don't know if I'm going to play any games today. Probably just going to stick to the politics.
We're doing very well. We're doing very well. Wait till you see the real numbers come out in 6 months from now. Wait till you see the numbers.
But do you
6
think,
months?
I'm going to ask you, if I may, do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think
Yes.
it's gone way up, and I think we're
No.
a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst, I have to be honest.
ABC is one of the
Thank you
worst.
for the opinion, but more importantly, thank you for having us here. I have one more question. It's a big one. It's a question that you know a lot of people have out there. What do you say to people who are concerned you are seizing too much power and becoming an authoritarian president like we haven't had before?
No, I would hate them to think that. I'm doing one thing. I'm making America great again. We have a country that was failing. We have a country that was laughed at all over the world. We had a leader that was grossly incompetent. He should have never been there. The election was rigged. He should have never been there. Our country suffered greatly, and now our country's coming back like nobody can believe. I have editorials just today where they're saying they've never seen anything like it. They love it. Our country's coming back, and we're respected again.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Terry, very much.
Once again, we want to thank President Trump for inviting us to the White House 100 days into his second term. I'm Terry Moran. From all of us at
Terry
ABC
Moran.
News, thank you for watching, and good night.
He's a real one. I like him. I liked his questions. His questions were fair. They were actually fair questions. Like, so annoying. That last question was really good too. That was a really good question. Okay, so I need to run an ad on Twitch real quick. I'm gonna get up and do a little bit of stretching. I don't know where to go. There it is. I'll be back. He needs to focus less on the previous administration. Like everything he talks about, he does a drive-by on them. Yeah, it's like zero accountability. Like he can't take the blame for anything. And that's probably one of the most frustrating things. Like just want him to just admit he messed up when he messed up. And like say I don't fucking know. Like just admit it. Like I made some mistakes. I'm trying to get through what happened with the previous administration's economy. I don't know, something. Just stop blaming. It's just so childish. Terry did good. He's pretty good at keeping him from rambling off topic. He really did. He did an incredible job. I'm really happy with him. And as we were watching the video, I was watching the likes down there go up. And when we started the video, it was sitting at like 8,700 likes, and by the end it was at like 9,000, I think. So I mean, to go up, like, I know it's only 300 likes, but still the down or the dislikes weren't increasing. If that makes sense. But so for the next segment, I guess we're gonna call it, this is the Election Truth Alliance. Let me pull them. Oh no, I can't pull them up because it's not that. Okay. The Election Truth Alliance. They are a group of people, of statisticians, who have been looking at the numbers from the November election, and those topics that I was rambling off earlier about things being weird and all 7 swing states being won, no districts being flipped from red to blue. That's from these guys. So it looks like they got a nice little 10-minute update that they just posted like an hour ago. So we're going to watch that here real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nathan. I am an executive director of the Election Truth Alliance, and here's your quick update for everything going on. I'm going to start with legal first. So, as of right now, we have invested over $30,000 in retaining and paying lawyers across the U.S. Our current process, legal team wise, is initiating with record requests, then gathering and building a case for lawsuits. We've been doing this for a couple weeks now, and I can announce we have retained lawyers in Pennsylvania to help us pursue lawsuits and audits there.
Let's go.
Now, to highlight this further, we have recently hit 24,000 signatures on our Pennsylvania petition for demanding a hand count audit. And what I want to highlight here is, to date, so far, we have not heard back from any state officials for our pleas. So I would highly recommend you continue to email and call your secretaries of state, your attorney general, your governors, specifically Pennsylvania. And so I do want to highlight that we have recently released a audit advocacy toolkit on our website. You go to electiontruthalliance.org, you come under resources, and the audit advocacy toolkit is here. And it briefly explains a little bit, and then you hit this button and it'll actually bring up templates for emails or phone call scripts. And we have a contact list as well for some state officials you can start reaching out to. This should make it easier for you to call or email your representatives. We've given you an outline of what you can talk about. So hopefully that's good for you. And then next we have, when it comes to everything else, actually one final point for Pennsylvania. So as I said, we've retained lawyers there. If you live specifically in Philadelphia and you voted during the 2024 presidential election and you're interested in helping us pursue audits, please email us at board@electiontruthalliance.org or go to our website and fill out a volunteer form and enlist being a Pennsylvania or Philadelphia resident. And put that in your subject line of your emails as well. And I will say these lawsuits, they're not going to be quick, but no one really knows. And the only way it seems we can get the states to step up and do this and we validate our elections is likely going to be through these lawsuits that we've been building, and we're still going to need help paying for as we continue and file those. Now, in additional news, on the positive side, I was on the Christopher Titus show in Los Angeles, California.
Such a good episode.
And they have released not one, but 2 parts of that recording. That's on YouTube right now. You go to Christopher Titus TV, and we highlight all of the data we have for Pennsylvania and the 3 counties there. And we actually do talk about Nevada, and we talk about 2020 as well. So please go check them out. It was an amazing experience. It was a little chaotic in the beginning, but we very quickly figured out how to break things down, and the team was amazing about summarizing and making things understandable and bringing up very important key points. So that was awesome. Please go check them out. Give them your love.
Yeah, that
Now,
was a
in
really good
terms
show.
of what ETA's next steps are, now we are still, as I said, we're still seeking donations to help pay for the upcoming legal battles, but we are giving back to you as well. And so, how are we doing that? We are launching our new dashboards. And here's an example of that. I'd highlighted this before, but this will be very quickly going
Holy
up and being
Am I
made
really
public.
that big?
And I'm going to run through this quickly for you here.
I'm looking over at one of the other monitors I have on, showing the stream, and am I really that big in the corner? Holy crap! Make it a little small. Yeah. So the episode of the Christopher Titus podcast that he had done was really, really good. Christopher Titus was a bit obnoxious because that's who he is. He is an obnoxious man, and he would always interject, and it did make it a little bit hard, a little difficult to watch and listen because of how much he was interrupting. But once they got through the data, like he was saying here in this video, once they were able to, figure out how to talk and all that with each other, like the information that this group has, like they don't want like an overturning. They want an audit. Like a real hand counted audit. And I don't see why anyone shouldn't want that. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, isn't this the same as like what the Rudy Giuliani and Trump and all them were trying to do? No, they didn't have evidence. They didn't have actual evidence. They just had like witness, like hearsay, basically. People saying, "Oh, I saw this happen. I saw this happen," and all that. These guys have the numbers, and they are putting it into like an algorithm that they have to and showing like the time frame for when the votes were counted or like when people showed up to vote. And once like the bigger places, the bigger precincts were like had half of the votes counted, like the registered votes, I guess, the votes for Donald Trump skyrocketed. Like after that, like how is that physically possible to have the votes just change so drastically? You're telling me that it was nothing but a bunch of liberals and Democrats who were coming in before the halfway point were voting for Kamala, some people voting for Trump, and then less people started voting for Kamala at the 50% mark. It just doesn't, and I don't want to put myself in the same camp as Rudy Giuliani and Trump's people, but like it's just so weird, and the things that Elon Musk said and how he's so good at computer, and how he knows so much about those machines in Pennsylvania and Starlink, and it's yeah. All right, we're gonna keep going.
So here's a few things you want to highlight is we will follow up this dashboard release with documentation. And an important note as well is this dashboard will let you download the data for each county
really
and
cool.
each state that we're going to highlight in each election voting type. So we do have a little bit of a summary, but we're going to follow up with some formal documentation on how you can replicate our work yourself. Now, this is one analysis. We have our turnout analysis, which gives us that very clean X. This is the same concern. Mail-in is a straight line. Election day is not. And you can test this with all of the different data sets I have. And we will continue to upload to this dashboard. And then here's the last one is heat maps. You've seen maybe this before. It should be more of a ball, and yet we're seeing it up and to the right for the winning candidate or not technically the winning, but the growing candidate in this case. As turnout increases, we see that he's growing in vote share. If we look at it mail-in, we see it's more of a spherical ball for each candidate.
See, that's suspicious.
And then finally, this one hasn't been published as much. We're going to highlight this going forward, but this is your bar graphs. I like these a lot because these very quickly summarize the concerns, and it is interactive. So you can see the different precincts. You can see the average amount of votes. We're seeing somewhere around 324 average votes per precinct here. As we get further to the right, we're hitting 450, 600, 438. So what is important to highlight here is as turnout is increasing, we don't see any sudden shifts up or down, except for maybe right here. That could be, a little bit of an anomaly. But when we look at election day, we see an interesting shift after.
Look,
what would this be? 53% turnout, and then the precinct.
Look at how weird that is. Look at how weird that is. Like I was saying, when is my mouse showing? Yeah. So you had all these people voting until like the 50% mark. And then at the 50% mark, suddenly less people started voting for Kamala and more people started voting for Trump. And this is like actual physically voting, like going in and voting. This the one that he showed right before that. This is the mail-in counting. Like that. It's just so crazy. It's just so crazy, and I'm so happy because I love numbers. I love graphs. I love data, and just seeing this makes me so happy. And after the election, I thought, oh man, I wish I were better with like numbers and data and like putting it into things. And I wish I had more resources, and I wish I wasn't so lazy. But it's just so fascinating just to see all of this.
After begin to average higher for one candidate. This is very concerning. This is anomalous. So you will be able to play with this soon. You will be able to download the data and see a little bit more details. And we'll have a nice little summary for you. And I'll have a video as well highlighting this. So to sum it all up, let's see. For the ETA specifically, we are stepping into the next phase. We're looking at large legal battles ahead, a lot of public attention. We're looking at trying to outreach to news in the U.S. and outside of the U.S. about our concerns, our finding, and our data. We're looking at working with credible election experts and getting their support as well, in writing perhaps. And we're already starting to see rumblings of the 2020 election fraud concerns. And I want to say that first step always when it comes to concerns is you want to look at their sources and their data. Mm-hmm. You want to see the proof up front, if you will, because the data shouldn't lie. And we may have some reports for the 2020 election in the near future that we'll be giving you. So keep that in mind. I want to thank you all so much for the support and the donations to get us here. Lily and Jive, they have been killing it when it came to setting us up. And then, David and Nate and the others who joined the ETA pushed us ahead. And so now they helped us get to this point, but you have overall been pushing us along and sharing the news.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't be here without them, and we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you guys so much for the support. I will say your call to action, right? What's next? So keep spreading the word, spread the data, link to our website, take our reports, send them, email them, make phone calls, contact your state officials. We gave you an audit kit. Go make those phone calls, go make those emails, say, hey, we outline what you can talk about and make it easier for you. If you can donate, please help us pay for the legal and the other equipment we're still using. We've been killing it with the dashboards, and we still have to pay to host this stuff and get this data out to you guys. And that's what's important. And if you have a background in statistics, data analysis, nonprofit accounting, please volunteer on our website or send us an email at board@electiontruthalliance.org. And then I just want you all to know we're only going to keep growing and getting louder in the coming weeks. But social media has been cracking down. It has been ridiculous. They've been suppressing a lot of our work, a lot of the work of our friends that have helped to boost us. The way we're going to have to beat the suppression is we're going to have to be everywhere.
Yep.
We're going to have to be all saying the same messages. And we're also going to have to use, our feet when it comes to helping spread the word beyond our bubbles. Social media does not like what we're doing. I think that's very telling. What they say is when you face opposition and pushback, you're going the right way. The right thing is almost never the easy thing to do. So thank you guys so much.
Very true.
More to come.
So him talking about social media not liking what he's saying, like I posted a video talking about their episode they did on the Christopher Titus podcast, and I was very vague about it. It was on TikTok. I was super vague about it. It got so much traction. Like it got it's not a lot of views, but for someone with only 900 followers, I just hit 900 today on TikTok. It hit like 8,000 views. I couldn't believe how much traction it got for something vague that I posted. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I feel like some of my videos started getting like a little suppressed on there. Like, there were 2 videos I made. And usually when I post a video, it'll like hit the For You page like immediately, and we'll get like at least like 5 likes in the first 5 minutes. Those videos, after I posted the one about these guys, had 0 views. It didn't get pushed to the For You page at all. So I know that being a disruptor can get you in trouble. And it's like he said, if social media is pushing back on you about the things you're saying, you're probably going the right way. So I'm very excited that they have more information. I'm excited to see the 2020 information. Only because, like, if the 2020 election was not legit, if it wasn't, okay, show us the proof. If these guys show us the proof, okay, arrest whoever made it so that it was taken. I don't care. If someone is fucking with our elections, arrest them. I don't care if they're a Democrat, if they're a Republican, Libertarian. I don't care. If they are messing with our elections, arrest them. That's all there is. All right, let's see. What do I got on my suggested videos? Because I don't have anything else. What's this? Chris Murphy. Columbia. There's this Bernie video. It's only 14 minutes long. I could use a good Bernie video.
Thanks very much for joining me.
It looks so good.
These are unprecedented moments in modern American history, and we have got to respond in unprecedented ways, and together. That is exactly what we're doing. Our grassroots political revolution is aggressively taking on Trump and the oligarchy, and we are making real progress. Over the last 8 weeks, I've been to 11 states: Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, California, Utah, Idaho, and Montana.
So a big difference between the two sides. On one, they're like, they maybe did something bad, but they had a good reason, versus the other side is like, they did something bad, they should get in trouble for it. Exactly. Like, if you broke the law, you broke the law. This ain't the good old boys club. We're not doing that shit anymore. I've always hated the good old boys club. I never wanted to be in that club. Like, growing up, like I worked at a movie theater that had a good old boys club, and it was annoying to see these guys do these things and not get in trouble, or they'd get a slap on the wrist. Like, no, we're not doing boys will be boys. We're not doing that anymore. We're holding people accountable. Like, let's, yeah, definitely. And his rally in Arizona, I couldn't get in. I showed up late. That's on me. I was like super nervous about going in the first place because of the political climate that we've been living in and how so many scary things have happened. And the night before the rally with Bernie and AOC, I was like, I think I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to go. And the morning of, I stayed up too late the night before. I should have tried to get there at 9:00. I probably would have gotten in. I definitely would have gotten in, because as I was walking up after showing up at 11, I got to the front at like 12:30. AOC was just finishing. Bernie was coming on, and they're like, oh, they closed the gate as I was walking up. So if I would have shown up a little bit early, if I wasn't so anxious and nervous about going, I would have been able to get in. But I'm glad, on the other hand, that I couldn't get in, because then I could see all the people who tried to get in just waiting on the streets with me and with all these other people who couldn't get in. It was just so good to see. It invigorated me. Like, I've been making like political content on TikTok for on and off right before the election. I stopped a little bit after because it was just so jarring. And then once he got inaugurated, it was when I like started to ramp it up, and then I started getting a huge following after the Bernie and AOC rally. And so that's probably a big reason why me going to that holds such a special place in my heart, is because it's when like people started noticing and wanting to listen and to have conversations about everything that's going on in the country, in my state, in my city. And it's been surreal, honestly. I'm trying really hard to not overthink the kind of support, I guess is the best way to put it, that I've been getting. But yeah, Bernie and AOC was incredible. Even if I couldn't see them, I could hear them.
Held 17 rallies, and I've spoken to over 250,000 people.
I might need to turn down the quality.
Most of these rallies were held in districts that are represented by Republican
Looks
members
too good.
of Congress. Interestingly,
there we go. That's
many
better.
of the people who showed up at these rallies were independents or Republicans, and not just Democrats. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accompanied me at the most recent Fighting Oligarchy events, and she did a fantastic job. We are continuing to hit the road. This time I'll be going to Pennsylvania. On Thursday, I'll be doing a May Day celebration with Pennsylvania trade unionists in Philadelphia. On Friday, we'll be in Harrisburg for an evening event, and on Saturday morning, we'll be in Lehigh Valley. Congressman Chris Deluzio will be joining us for these events. If any of you live in these communities, please drop by. We would love to see you there. But it's not just about the rallies that we're focusing on. As important as they are, please understand that we are not just parachuting into communities and then walking away. We're doing much more than that. We are working hard to build a sustainable, progressive, grassroots infrastructure, mostly focusing now on marginal congressional districts that have Republican members of Congress. We have already hired local organizers in Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan, with more to come. These organizers are putting together grassroots coalitions with great success. They have already organized well-attended meetings where community members come together to discuss local concerns. Over 400 folks were out in Michigan last week, and over 300 attended a meeting in Wisconsin. They are also organizing door-to-door canvassing, setting up phone banks, and engaging in social media. Bottom line here, we are not going to let the Republican representatives who prefer to hide from their constituents escape their responsibilities. Short term, as many of you know, there's a so-called reconciliation bill coming before Congress in the not-too-distant future. This horrific Trump legislation would provide $1 trillion in tax breaks for the 1% while making massive cuts to Medicaid, nutrition, housing, and other programs that working families desperately need. This bill has got to be defeated, and our efforts are putting pressure on vulnerable Republicans to vote no. Longer term, we want to see Republicans in these districts defeated in 2026 and Democrats regaining control over the House. If we can accomplish that, we'll be taking a giant step forward in stopping Trump's destructive agenda. Further, as many of you may know, and this is long-term thinking, we've just issued a call for progressives throughout the country to run for office, from school board to city council to state legislature to the United States Congress. The response has been extraordinary. Over 5,000 people from virtually every state in the country have expressed an interest in getting involved politically. Some are interested in running as progressive Democrats, others as independents. We'll be doing a Zoom call with many of them this Wednesday evening in order to begin providing them with the guidance that new candidates often require. If you are interested in the possibility of running for office yourself,
Me?
please go to berniesanders.com/run. That's berniesanders.com/run, and you can get information as to how you can proceed. Not surprisingly, the establishment has taken note of what we are doing. Republicans, including Trump and Musk, tried to downplay the size of our rallies. According to Musk, those who attended were mostly paid organizers. Really?
I didn't get paid
Not
shit.
quite true. While members of the Democratic establishment have occasionally applauded our efforts on the road, a number of them and their corporate media friends are becoming increasingly nervous about the progress we're making. And you may have heard some of this recently in newspapers or radio or TV or in social media. These establishment figures are exclaiming that progressives shouldn't be taken too seriously, that we as progressives are too far left, we are extreme, we are out of touch with American society. None of these establishment critiques are new. I've heard them for a long, long time, but they are worth discussing. So let me take a minute to do that.
Ask yourself.
According to these
Nope.
establishment politicians, analysts, media pundits, and wealthy campaign contributors, the future of the Democratic Party lies in moderation. We shouldn't be rocking the boat. We shouldn't be bringing forth bold ideas to address the crises facing working families. We shouldn't be talking about oligarchy, about one guy owning more wealth than the bottom 53% of American households. Can't talk about that. We shouldn't be talking about massive income and wealth inequality and the reality that the top 1% now owns more wealth than the bottom 90%. We shouldn't be talking about the unprecedented concentration of corporate ownership that exists and that a handful of large Wall Street firms are the major stockholders in virtually every large corporation in America. We shouldn't be talking about the need to grow the trade union movement so that workers can negotiate for decent wages and benefits. And let us never talk about a corrupt campaign finance system that allows billionaires in both parties to control the political and legislative process. Oh, and of course, we shouldn't be talking about corporate control over the media. According to these leaders of the Democratic establishment, the path forward, get ready for this, is to continue doing exactly what they have been doing for the last 10 years. In other words, tell the world how bad Donald Trump is while continuing to defend a rigged and corrupt economic and political system that makes the rich richer while working families fall further and further behind. Well, we disagree with that approach. Of course, we will continue to work with Democrats and anybody else to help lead the way in exposing Trump's pathological lying, his kleptocratic behavior, which enriches himself and his family, his disastrous economic policies, which benefit the rich at the expense of everyone else, his authoritarianism and his contempt for the Constitution, his foreign policy, which is alienating us from longtime friends and allies. We will continue to do that and more. But that is not enough. From one end of our country to the other, in red states, blue states, purple states, working families, young people, seniors, the poor, people of color, people in cities and people in rural America, and Americans of all stripes are desperately looking for a new and bold vision for America's future.
Mm-hmm.
The status quo is not working and cannot and should not be defended. Let me repeat that. The status quo is not working and cannot and should not be defended. Simply stated, in the richest country in the history of the world, where our productive capabilities are exploding with new technologies, every man, woman, and child in our country can and should have a decent standard of living. This is not radical utopian thinking. This is not far left. This is what we can and should be achieving. This is what we should be fighting for. What is radical and unthinkable is that in the year 2025, in the United States of America, 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck. And we have some of the highest rates of childhood and senior poverty of any major country on earth. What is radical is that we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had before. And unbelievably, one man owns more wealth than the bottom 53% of households. What is radical is that we are the only major country not to guarantee health care for all as a human right or have paid family and medical leave. What is radical is that 800,000 of our fellow Americans are homeless and that over 20 million households spend over half of their limited incomes for housing. What is radical is that we are spending close to $1 trillion a year on the military and many billions in weaponry for an extremist Netanyahu government in Israel that has waged a horrific, illegal, and immoral war against the people of Gaza. What is radical is that our democracy is being undermined not just by Donald Trump, but by billionaire campaign contributors and a corrupt campaign finance system. The American people desperately want this country to move forward in a new direction, economically, politically, socially, and environmentally. Just as a matter of fact, a recent survey found that 3/4 of Americans believe the American political and economic system need major changes. So to our establishment friends in the Democratic Party, no, we will not maintain the status quo. We will not shrink from big ideas. We are prepared to take on the big money interests who dominate our society. And we know that the American people are with us in that fight. And we should be enormously proud that we are helping to shape that path. But let us be clear, the road forward will not be easy. We are taking on the oligarchs and their unlimited wealth. We're taking on corporate America and the media that they own. We're taking on Donald Trump and the Republican Party, and we're taking on the fossilized section of the Democratic Party, which cannot shake loose from their top-down politics, their wealthy campaign donors, and their super PACs. In this pivotal moment in American and world history, when the stakes are so high for our country and the entire planet, we should not underestimate the difficult challenges that we face. But that should not make us pessimistic. If we stand together, we have the power to create a government and an economy that works for all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. As Nelson Mandela, one of the great liberation leaders in modern history, reminded us, quote, "It always seems impossible until it is done," end quote. Let's do it. Thank you very much.
That was a good one. We could have had Bernie. 10 years ago, could have had Bernie, but no, we had to have Hillary. We could have had Bernie. Now he's too old. The Senate votes on resolution disapproving of Trump's tariffs. Interesting. It's MSNBC video from 4 hours. Could have been. It would have been great. It would have been so good. Can you imagine? You know, there's those memes that say, "Society, if we had this," and it was just like it's all futuristic. I don't know if we'd be that far, but it would still be pretty great. It's be so good. Okay. I think I found. Do one more video. And I'll wrap up.
So, Eddie, the president says all of this.
10-minute video from MSNBC.
So, Eddie, the president says all of this, including there seemed to be quite a bit of laughter when they talk about judge problems, which might include defying judicial orders. And then he says we've just gotten started. You haven't seen anything yet. What does that mean for the country going forward?
It means that we stand on the precipice, Chris. I mean, our democracy is, and we're not being hyperbolic here, our democracy is under threat. More importantly, it's under siege. Donald Trump has just expressed very clearly his unitary theory of executive power, that he has a view of the imperial presidency that runs roughshod over the separation of powers. He doesn't care about 3 equal branches of government. We are presently, and there's no hyperbole here again, we are presently in a constitutional crisis. The question is, will the American people allow it? And so when he says he's going to barrel forward, that means he's going to continue to exercise executive power without constraint. And that means, to be honest, Chris, our democracy is in real peril at this point.
Let me give you an example of what has a lot of people concerned, Congress.
What the fuck is up with all the hats? I know, it's so... That's all this administration is branding. That's all they care about is branding. Gulf of America, make America great again, make America healthy again. The Gulf of America one is the one that makes me like, I shouldn't laugh, but it's just so ridiculous. I can't help but to laugh. So in wrestling, there was a character that they brought out he's a luchador. He wears like the mask, and he is actually one of the white men who was trying to fight luchadors, but he's saying that he is this new luchador. And when he first premiered, they billed him from the Gulf of America because his name is El Grande Americano. And it's just so ridiculous because it's very clearly that person that said that, and he says it's not him, but it's actually him. But yeah, they put him as being from the Gulf of America, and there was a lot of backlash from it, like a lot from it. And so they eventually changed it back to the Gulf of Mexico. But yeah, so silly, so silly.
Congressman, last night, the president made a pretty startling announcement about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man deported to El Salvador. Let me play for you exactly what he said.
The order from the Supreme Court stands, sir.
Came into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
Not only does that contradict his own team, they've claimed that he is...
I know we're just watching back. We're just watching someone's analysis of the thing that we watched earlier, but I think it's good to feel validated, I guess. You know?
Essentially powerless, that they were waiting for the president of El Salvador to do
Look
something.
at her. She is so done with his shit.
But it also makes it clear he has no intention of following a Supreme Court order to facilitate the release. So now what?
Well, they're quibbling over the definition of the word facilitate. What does that mean? To listen to the Attorney General, she said they would facilitate, a plane ride for this guy back. But apparently, the president is not going to call the president of the United States is not going to call the president of El Salvador
he was sitting there
that this person be put on the plane.
The
and
president
sent
was
home.
Sitting there.
That's the problem right now. I mean, like Eddie says, we're in a constitutional crisis. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're approaching one. And candidly, on the political side of this, Donald Trump would like nothing more than all day, every day to talk about this issue. He feels like he's winning every time he's talking about immigration and illegal immigrants. It distracts from the economic message that is really causing him enormous problems right now. But right now, the president is not facilitating the return of this individual. And I suspect the Supreme Court is going to have to step in again and offer further guidance as to how this man should be returned.
Yeah, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, Eddie, is one example. Last night, though, the president again called undocumented immigrants as a group monsters that are raping and slaughtering Americans and trying to destroy our country. Of course, that's despite actual data that shows undocumented immigrants commit violent crime at a much lower rate than U.S. citizens.
Oh,
Trump also
look at
played
that.
at that rally a highly produced video of detainees being sent to El Salvador that's become familiar to most of us. But it was accompanied with a soundtrack, and I want to play that.
Uh-oh. What the fuck?
The reaction to that, as you can see, cheers and chants of USA. Is the message that they're sending with that video law and order? Or, Eddie, is it something else?
Chris,
He doesn't even know.
law and order has always carried with it an ugly underbelly. As a phrase, this is hearkening back to the 1920s. Remember, the Johnson-Reed Immigration Act was basically written by the KKK.
We live under fascism. Yeah, we do.
There is
What's
a
up, Sock
deep
now?
nativist and racist undertow to what we're seeing and what we're hearing. The facts do not matter.
Undertone?
There is a kind of
I don't know if we can call it an undertone. Like, this is this is like overtone. Like, this is incredibly racist. Like, I don't. Oh my god! Like, the what's the word I'm looking for? The pussyfooting. Like, that's been one of the big issues with just like what's racist about it? What do you mean? What's racist about it, Jorge Floyd? Everything about the Trump administration is racist. Almost everything. Most things. Like, they are claiming that these people are monsters when let's see. We go back just a little bit. We got some stats here. Per 100,000 people, among undocumented immigrants, violent crime, 96. Among legal immigrants, 185. Among U.S.-born citizens, 213. U.S.-born citizens are way more violent. And you want to know how you make it so U.S.-born citizens are no longer violent? You help the lower class. Nothing much, but that cheer should be saved. I would love to save all clips of their bigotry so I can humiliate them on how unethical they are and grab them by their shirts. Like, yeah, like, I want to say that shaming people is good, but at the same time it's not, because it'll just push them further and further away from us, and then they'll become disenfranchised, and then they just won't vote at all. And we don't want that. We don't want non-voters. But going back, how's it bigoted to cheer when criminals are put in jail, let alone the worst criminals there are, the murderous gangsters? There's no proof that that's what they were. They never got a trial. We just got we got hearsay from the country saying, oh yeah, this person was violent. Like, keep them in our jails. Give them their due process. They're showing El Salvador, you have to go bad. You have to be bad to go there. You're not there if you're iffy. Then why did Abrego Garcia go there? For having tattoos on his hand? He just had some tattoos on his hand. And because he's MS-13. Allegedly. And he had a court order saying he did not, he could not be sent back to El Salvador. He was allegedly MS-13. And you know what? Let's say he was. Let's say he joined them in El Salvador because they were trying to extort his family, and he had to work for them because he came here, he changed his life. He was raising, was it 3 kids that I believe were not his own, which is already a great thing to do, to raise the children that are not yours. Like, the only proof they had was a report saying that he was hanging out with some confirmed MS-13 people, and that, what was it, he had drugs on him, he had money. But when the courts and judges tell you to bring him home, don't send him in the first place, why is it so hard to bring him back? Why is it so hard to bring back the hairdressers? You change the word MS-13 to Nazi, would you feel the same way? No. I would want proof that they were a Nazi. That's it. Show me proof. Show me proof that they were a Nazi. Show me that they had these connections. Show me the crimes that they committed. Give them their day in court. You think enough proof has been put forward? I strongly disagree. If you have all these people who want to bring this man home, like, yeah, they are just misrepresenting what kind of person he is. Donald Trump said in that interview that was posted last night that he had MS-13 clearly written on his hands. Clearly tattooed on his hands. The words MS-13. Those were computer font. Arial. Like, I don't understand how anyone could think that that was not photoshopped or MS painted in. Like, that picture of the story in his hand, and he has U.S. documents, like this is some Middle Eastern dictator moves the U.S. is doing. Yeah, for sure. And you can't just get rid of people. You can't. You're here legally. Is it a good idea to toe the line with criminal activity when you're already a criminal? Okay. So when he was doing criminal things when he was here, he was arrested. And let's say that he was given his day in court. His day in court stated, do not send him back to El Salvador. What's the point of having a checks and balance system between the judicial, executive, and legislative if they're not going to check each other? Like, if a judge is telling the executive branch not send this man to El Salvador and that they need to send him home and bring him home, and the attorney general says, yeah, let's bring him home. We got a plane. Let's just get El Salvador's president to get that taken care of. We have a plane to bring him home. Why isn't he home yet? If these people were so violent, like, why are they in such small cells? The El Salvador president agrees he's an MS-13 gangster. Of course he does. He is getting millions of dollars from our government to house these people. Of course he's going to agree with everything Donald Trump says. I don't care if Theodore Roosevelt, the most masculine gun-swinging president, allowed illegal immigration, and he found them a way to become a citizen while residing in the country. So I find it so appalling from people validating deportations. Exactly. Like, if we just had a better system to legally bring people into the country, we would not be in this issue. We wouldn't be having these issues. It was here for over a decade and didn't become legal. Okay, exactly. It's what I was just saying. People, the wait times for people to become legal U.S. citizens was very long. And the Biden administration, Congress, part of the border bill was to help make the process faster. That was one of the things that Trump shut down. Because if there weren't issues with the border, then Trump had nothing to run on. Clearly. Because you love getting rid of illegals. You don't want to fix their issues. You want to get rid of them. You don't want to hear about them. You don't want to think about them trying to make a better life for them and their family. Like, I don't understand. I'm gonna go back to this little stat here. If low income people, if the lower class had better access to childcare, to food, housing, crime would significantly drop. Because people commit crime so they can live their life. And if they can't afford to live their life, then they're going to commit the crime. I don't give a flying fuck. Like, I find it so revisionist by new Republicans, and they want to preserve their history. What history of greatness you are tearing down all the policies that made the Republicans great? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, Joe Biden, it's got nothing to do with parties. It has everything to do with parties. You're tired of paying for illegals? What are you paying? What are you paying for illegals? How are they affecting you? Affecting you as a person? It can't be any worse than what they were dealing with back in their home. Taxation without representation. The Democrats have so many welfare socialist programs, even NGOs taking from us. Okay. Doge is doing a good job uncovering it. Hold on. Doge isn't doing anything. Like, all those things that you're seeing on Twitter, like, half the things I see on Twitter is satire. And if it's not satire, it's just straight up lies. Like, come on. And people who work in our country, if they were illegals, whatever, they're still being taxed. And let's say that they did get legal. They are being taxed. And they're not going to get the benefits. You're anti-human. I'd rather support China than the U.S. economy than to support unethical Americans. Yeah. It's literally just anti-human. And I don't know if you're a religious person. I was raised Catholic. Dabbled in Christianity for a little bit, and I don't know where I am now in terms of religion. It's kind of just up in the air. I think that there's maybe something up there watching over us. Someone, I don't know. But when you work for a living, you get a say in that. When I work for a living, I pay taxes. Like, I don't understand. Like, if I've paid taxes, then am I not working? Like, oh, it's a sock now. Okay. I mean, you don't know that they're not working. They could be working too. New York for a living, workers don't have the right to bash other workers at all. Exactly. No, you don't. You just, why is it so hard to care for other humans? I don't understand how it's such an issue. Like, if it's known that they are a criminal, okay. There's proof that they were a criminal. Okay. Get them out of the country. Show proof though. Don't just round up a bunch of people, break into houses, sometimes houses that don't belong to the person you're looking for. Don't pick people up off the streets while they're waiting for a ride somewhere and then deport them. It's actual madness. It's literally sounds like 1930s Germany. Just people getting disappeared and sent to who knows where. Except we know exactly where they're going, El Salvador. Fuck American economic safety if they're doing terrorism. Yeah. You act like they're here for a better life. What happened was an exodus caused by politicians. These are the former prison dwellers that were let free if they took the train to the border. I mean, a lot of the people that came here were looking for a better life. Like, if there were, what did they say, 20 million people that came into the US during Biden's term? Not just Central South America either, Middle East and North Africa brought in millions too. They're here for a better life, and you want them to suffer. They were brought in by NGOs on my dime. Can you prove that? Can you actually prove that? Like, USAID is proving it. USAID was a program to help other countries. Doge has shown, I'm sure Doge has shown. Doge has shown a lot of things. They've promised a lot of things. They promised $2 trillion in savings. They promised $1 trillion in savings, and now it's down to what? 150 billion? You can't trust Doge. You can't trust Elon Musk. I don't care if he's the richest man in the world. You can't trust Elon Musk. His interests are only his. He wants to go to Mars, and he doesn't care what he has to do to get there. He's going to get rid of any regulations he can. He's going to do all these cuts, claim he saved all this money, and then get contracts from the government. You don't support nonprofits when an anti-Christian statement. It is. It really is. Like, we used the USAID to create goodwill in other countries so that if we needed help from those countries, they'd be like, you know what? Yeah, the US is being good to us. They've been good to us. They provide us with water, food, birth control, condoms. USAID was corrupted and misused in incredibly large magnitudes. Okay, then get rid of that. Trillions of dollars. There's no proof of that. Just keep, if there is actual corruption within USAID, get rid of that corruption, but keep the goodwill part of it. Because if we're going to be pulling out of all these countries, then we're not going to have any allies. We're not going to help anybody. We're not going to have allies. It's with us pulling out of these countries and not wanting to help them anymore. It has just set it up so that who our biggest adversary, allegedly, apparently, China, who we have essentially a trade embargo with, they're going to go in and become the new superpower with those countries. And we're going to lose our footing on the world stage. We've probably already lost the footing on the world stage, to be honest, just in 3 months, which is honestly impressive in the worst way possible. I can't wait until the world just topples the U.S. GDP. Like, the U.S. doesn't deserve an economy. I support China with all my might, and I want the U.S. to be on the 10th rung of the economic ladder. Yeah. Trump dismantled the CIA already? I'm sure. Wish misfortune on those who treat humans as animals. And I don't want misfortune on the people who are wishing misfortune on other people. I want them to see that they've been lied to, because then maybe they'll wake up and see that what Trump has been doing for the past 10 years is just pure racism. Like, how are illegal immigrants still the biggest topic 10 years later? Like Donald Trump has been using the same playbook this entire time. You don't believe in second chances, huh? Here I am reasoning with an animal like you, giving you your chance to see you wouldn't do the same is somewhat disheartening. Sorry, streamer. Streamer, you're a good guy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. But I know it. I don't know if it'll ever, if you'll ever come around, Jorge. I don't know. I don't know if you'll ever see that Trump is a bad man and he does not have the interest of America in the best place. I don't think I really don't think he does. I don't think that he wants to become this prosperous country that he claims that he wants. He's not a good man. And I don't know if you've heard of this person named Curtis Yarvin, but he's been working. He's this idealist he essentially wants to make our government into a business, which is exactly what Elon Musk said during an interview with his Doge boys on Fox, that he wants America to become a business. And then Curtis Yarvin said he doesn't want a president anymore. He wants a CEO. And that's dangerous. Like, I don't think that is the right direction for us to go in. Another thing that Curtis Yarvin wants is he wants us to come home, stay at home, put on the VR headset, and be happy with our lives. He essentially wants us to become like WALL-E, the movie WALL-E, so that they can just continue to have their money and their control. And I can see us going in that direction, especially with the changes to the government system, how they want to put it on the blockchain. They want to get rid of physical records, which is, in my opinion, terrifying. Because what happens if an EMP goes off? What happens to all that data? Like it's just so easy to just wipe out so much information. Like, yeah, there's probably backups held somewhere, but like, how often are those backups held or done? You know, it's a dangerous world, and this isn't a vision. I sound like a medium or something, but I have this, I'm going to call it a vision for what is going to happen with our government if Trump is able to continue doing what he's doing. He's going to destabilize the dollar like he's doing. We're going to get the government put on the like crypto blockchain network, and then they're going to make crypto into a legitimate currency, which is good and bad for a lot of people. Crypto, I can see a lot of goods behind it. Just that it has the same value across the world. It has, it can be done instantly. But I don't think that the way that Donald Trump is doing it is right. Losing allies across the world isn't the way to do it. Alienating people isn't the way to do it. All it's going to do is just siphon more money up to the top, and then they're going to create the jobs, and then they're going to just go with the trickle-down economy again and say, look at all these jobs and all this wealth that we have in our country, while we have our people just working in these factories that we don't want to work in. We shouldn't have to work in factories. We are a developed country. And I'm not bashing on China or India or anything like that for the kind of work that they're doing. And I'm not saying that Americans are better than that, but the kind of life that we have built in our country, like we don't need to go back to being the manufacturer of the world. We really don't need to. We have so much potential, and Trump does not want to embrace that. And it's unnerving. It's scary, honestly. Don't wish a second chance on America. We have given a ton of grace, and we have done it twice. One time in the 20s, 60s, and now in the 2020s, 3 times. GDP is going to go down the toilet. Like, even Trump made a casino, and they have their own currency, and he toppled that. Like, he doesn't deserve trust. Even Wharton from UPenn supports the hatred of Trump's economy, and I love that for Trump. Yeah, like, how do you bankrupt a casino? By buying 3. That's how he did it. He just needed to buy 1 casino, make it run well, buy the next one, make that one run well while the first one is still running well, buy the 3rd one. Why does it have to be such a cut and grab? Like why does he have to be to get rid of everything and start over? Why not just slowly build it up and then do the cuts? Why do we have to cut things down? Why can't we just build it up and say, you know what, that old system, it's obsolete. We don't need it anymore. We're going to get rid of it because we have this new system. Not we're going to cut this system because we have concepts of a system. We have an idea of something we're going to do. Why do we have to do all these cuts first? And I know it's to save money. How much money did they really save by firing all these people and getting rid of all of these programs? If we have so much money invested by all these companies. We got Apple doing 500 billion. You got SoftBank doing 500 billion, with 100 billion down already for AI for the Stargate project. You got OpenAI, Oracle. You know who Oracle is? Larry Ellison. He is the owner of Oracle. They store they store the data for TikTok. So we got OpenAI, who they got, was it ChatGPT. You've got Oracle, who has arguably the biggest social media platform, probably the most popular social media platform, and just so much data and information, and just it can recreate people so easily, because people are putting everything on TikTok. And I know I'm one to talk. I post things on TikTok as well, but I post things that are critical of the government, and I post like gaming content on there as well. And we're going down a slippery slope. We're almost free falling. And Jorge, I don't know if you're here still, but I would like you to just look into a few more things about Donald Trump and the people that he associates himself with. Because while right now we're talking about immigration, illegal immigrants, he's gonna come for the, like he already said, he's gonna come for the homegrowns. Am I homegrown? I'm critical of Trump. I don't like him. I haven't liked him since I heard his voice. I was in an airport in 2015, and I heard this voice coming from a TV, and I was like, who the hell? Who is that? And I look over, and it's Donald Trump, and he's talking about running for president. And I was like, oh my God, what an idiot. Like, I have been critical of Donald Trump for a very long time. At first, I also thought, before he won in 2016, I thought he was a plant by the Democratic Party to show how crazy Republicans are. If that's still true, then that's fantastic. Probably not fantastic, because then he had a deeper shadow government issue that we got to deal with. But yeah, am I next? Am I going to get sent to El Salvador, or there's another country that's working with them? Am I going to get sent to one of those too? I'm an American. I am the son of an immigrant who came here because he was with his entire family when he was 17, maybe 16. And he is an American citizen now, but that's why I have all this I don't want to call it this care for immigrants, because my father came here, and if my dad wasn't able to come here, if he would have been, if this stuff was happening in the 80s and he got taken out of the country, I wouldn't be here. Like, Oracle, a genocide supporter, yeah. Like, as a Hispanic, I find Trump to be the biggest colonizer of Hispanicism and our culture. So I want Jorge to know that if he is truly a lover of Hispanic culture, then he should respect it and not put terrorism on us. Like, this is why I never support conservative parties in South America. They're full of corruption, true corruption. Yeah, for sure. It's because the grift is so easy. You just got to pick one thing that people are really mad about, and you can just rile them up so easy. And I know, and as I was saying, that could be like, oh, but the Democrats are doing that with Trump. It's not just Trump. It's everything that Trump's doing. It's the anti-human, like you said, Sock, anti-human rhetoric is what it is. And if I'm able to use that to get people riled up, okay. I don't need I don't need to demonize humans. I don't need to demonize a people. I'm gonna demonize Donald Trump because he doesn't like humans who are beneath him, who don't have as much money as him, who won't kiss his feet. That's this idea, let's put our people in jail, like no gotta say, yeah, no, it's it's a crazy world, and I'm hoping that by me coming up here and talking about it, about the issues, about immigration, about issues with this country and where the direction that we are most likely going, I hope to help either change minds or at least just put the thought in there to make you just think, like, what if I am wrong? What if Trump is really this evil person that people have been saying this whole time? That's all I want. That's the only reason that I got into politics, and I just want people to understand that Donald Trump is a bad person, and the people he associates with are bad people as well. And if they're not bad people, then they're just misinformed. That's all it is. And if Trump supporters don't want to say that they were wrong, because admitting you're wrong is hard. It's hard. Then I just want them to admit that they were lied to. That's it. That's really it. And yeah. I don't think I'm gonna finish this video. This is pretty much just talking about everything I talked about earlier, and then y'all came in here and got me fired up. Got me fired up. I do appreciate you coming in and talking, chatting, Sock, and putting Jorge in his place, because Jesus Christ. And Sock, I don't know if I can help convince you to, I don't want to say tone down like the anger towards Trump supporters or anyone that's listening. We want to just inform them, and telling them that they're wrong will just get them to just dig in even deeper, you know? Right now I'm supporting what Winston Churchill said. You can't negotiate with a lion with your head in its mouth. That's true. That is very true. That is very true. But yeah, and I know it'll be hard. It'll be hard to try and convince people to come around, to understand what you're saying to them, because it is hard to admit that you were wrong about something. Even if we can just, like I said, put just that little thought in their mind, like, God, maybe I was wrong. Because I know there's a lot of people who are doing that, who are saying that they didn't negotiate with Nazis. Why should I? I know. Because we aren't there yet. Once we get there, then yeah. Like, Once we start invading Canada and Greenland, then yeah. And I know we shouldn't use the baby gloves or whatever they're called now, but we aren't on the track of becoming Nazi 2.0. We are on track to become Nazi 2.0. We're not there yet. And I think if we can just get people to recognize the road that we're going down, that will hopefully help. I did have someone I saw someone post on Facebook one of the quotes from Anne Frank about taking people in the night, husbands are gone when wives come home, and all that. And someone responded to that post essentially talking about what's going on today. And that person admitted that, oh, it's actually an Anne Frank quote. And the person who was trying to defend it got a little upset. They're like, you tried to trick me. And I was like, no, I was using history to show you what's happened. And when it comes to Donald Trump, his administration, his ICE agents, his Proud Boys, yeah, you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them. But when it comes to family members, friends, old friends, random people you see in chat, if they're acting like a Nazi, then yeah, fuck them. They're a Nazi. But there are a lot of people who are very misinformed about what's going on, and they just assume that everyone that is being sent out of the country are criminals. I feel like we are there. I see the red hats being browner and browner. Yeah, I know. Especially
On the precipice, Chris.
Oh no, that's like kind of blue. But still, like the hats, they are changing in color. Do they have a brown one? No. But the red and the navy blue, yeah, no, I get it, Sock. But at least just maybe think about what I said. You know, I'm too much of a I'm too much of like a kind of a peacekeeper. Because I care about how people feel. I probably care too much. But yeah. Yeah. That's why you're strict. Yeah. No, I get that. I do. I definitely do understand that. I do. What time is it? It's almost 4:30. I should probably wrap this thing up. I've been going for 3 hours. Holy smokes. I haven't done a 3-hour stream in a while. I think most I hit was 2 hours the other day. But yeah, I normally do like gaming content. This is actually my first political stream on Twitch that I've done. I'm also multi-streaming over to the YouTube to a actual politics channel. But Sock, do you use TikTok or YouTube or anything? I'm over there as well. Probably I won't be able to look at that. Are we allowed to post out to other platforms? I can't remember. Hey, K-Luck. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. I want peace too, but I'm very strict. Like when I heard tired of giving money away to immigrants, I was like, nope. Yeah. No, and it's you use Red Note, okay. Oh, Zorix. Hey, what's going on, Zorix? Sorry, I'm doing a politics stream today. Yeah, I don't know when I'll be doing. I do not have Red Note. No. Yeah, I didn't do the switch over when TikTok went down. Sorry I missed your live stream yesterday. No worries. No worries. It went pretty good. I finished up the expedition in No Man's Sky and just started doing just a few random things. But yeah, if you want to follow me over here on Twitch as well, I'm gonna do just kind of a combination of like video games and politics kind of stuff. So if the politics isn't your cup of tea, I apologize. Watch the replays, so that kind of counts. It not just kind of counts; it really counts. So I appreciate you watching the replay, because then it sends to the algorithm that people like it. So, and thank you for the follow, Zorix and Sock. Now I don't remember if I thanked you for following earlier, but thank you for following. I really appreciate you. But yeah, Sock, do you have YouTube? I sometimes post my political stuff there as well. Grab that link as well. Yeah, got both my links there. TikTok and YouTube for my political stuff, my gaming stuff. Hey, look is real with the hydration redemption. Everyone drink some water. I definitely need to drink some water. It's like you came in right after I had this huge rant. So I appreciate the hydration reminder. Yeah, so if you want to follow me over there on YouTube, I'm posting stuff there. I got my live going over there as well. I do have a few friends. One of my friends that I've known for about 20 years. We gamed together for a while. His name is Angry Ginger. Really great dude. Yeah, if you want to just hit him up with a follow over there as well. Yeah, I'm even highlight my message. Nice. Yeah. Nice, K-Luck. Just kind of chill real quick because I got soup. I got pretty heated from talking about that the immigration stuff. I was, whew, I didn't get like as flustered as I thought I would. You're new to Twitch, so I'm just testing the things out. All right, nice. Yeah, Twitch is good. It's okay. It's good for like interaction, like during the actual live stream. Watching the video back though, like watching the replay back on Twitch is awful, god awful. So, yeah, YouTube has a way better replay system. But I like Twitch just for accessibility. It's a little bit more creator friendly, which is nice. Just because if you want to, get started doing this as a career or anything like that, with streaming, it's a better platform. YouTube is better for like watching later on and watching clips instead of the actual live part of it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm all done with the videos for today. Me up on, yeah, just chatting. Do I have a chat box? Gonna call replaying the last live you did because I saw my message. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I do like that you're able to see the, like, I have the option to put the chat on screen, which I do need to do here for my just chatting, but most of the lives you watch are pre-recorded. Yeah, I mean, and it's hard. It's hard to catch a live, um, like when someone's live streaming. Um, oh, when it's pre-recorded, the chat doesn't show up on screen. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Let's see. Twitch is good if you want to post longer comments on Twitch. You can, like, there is no word count, but there is proportional representation by content length. Yeah, yeah. YouTube. I don't remember how long. What's the YouTube? Is it like 100 characters or something? I don't know. I don't use the YouTube Live as much as I'd like to. Spent $100 on a gift on TikTok and it was pre-recorded. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, that's annoying. Oh, the YouTube count is 100. Okay. Yeah, missing out on redemptions, which I'm just gonna keep this up and maybe put myself in the middle. I'll just keep myself here. You wanted to see a reaction? Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate because that's the thing, the fun thing to do um with streamers is seeing their reaction to something big like that, because it makes you as a person feel good, because if you are a gift giver, you want to see how people react. So having it be recorded is really frustrating. YouTube Live is kind of problematic. If you want to add your own emotes, you can't. Yeah, that is a little rough, because, like, I like being able to mess around with my emotes, like I got these, I got these ones here, my animated emotes for my subscribers, but I got some still ones for free people, you just use if you want. See, there you go. Woo! I do those tokens like you have on Twitch, yeah. Or bits, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that YouTube is working on their live. I would hope that they would work on their live stuff. I know that there have been a lot of creators who went to YouTube Live and then were like, it's not good. Like, even Moist Critical, or Penguins, he talked about how YouTube is good. Like I was saying, YouTube is good for watching the VOD or the replay back, but Twitch is just so much better for, like, in the moment. Like, it's, the person is there, and all that, and actual interaction. But, like, with YouTube, like, it'll say that it's live, but it's because it was live, but it's a live replay. YouTube is a library. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's a library. Twitch is, I don't want to call it the Wild West, but Twitch is the streets of Las Vegas. How about that? But there's no librarian. Exactly. It's like, it's a library, and it's like, good luck. Good luck finding what you want. You can type the words in. We might get you what you're looking for, but about something close to it that has nothing to do with what you were looking for. Yeah, like you need to just put all the silly emotes on Twitch chat. Like it is better, and I've thought about doing like primarily YouTube, but you guys just solidified my desire to not do that, and I will just keep on doing Twitch stuff because I like Twitch for the interaction. I had my TikTok going earlier, my TikTok live, but I didn't want it to get shut down. Because I was watching the videos. So yeah, like yeah, these emotes are so good. Underfunded library quality with enormous funding. Yeah, it's like they have so much money. They have so much money, but they just store everything. They just store everything over there on YouTube. Yeah. Mr. Beast over here with 300, 400 million chilling. Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's so many people. And here I am on Twitch with, what am I at? Like 279 or 379. I doubt I'd ever get into the even close to what Mr. Beast is at. I don't know if I even want to. Like I don't want like like Mr. Beast money. That's so much money. That is so much money. I don't want that kind of money. No. Alphabeting. Yeah, just Google in general. Yeah. Crazy you've been recording for 13 years on YouTube and still doesn't have 1K. Sad. Hope you get famous though. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been, back and forth on and off for 13 years on YouTube, been started out with like Call of Duty and Battlefield. And it's been more recent actually just in this past year of doing of like full-time streaming or trying to. Yeah, after I got laid off last year, I was like, I'm gonna try streaming again because I did stream back in like 2016 to 2017. But I was like, I'm gonna try it again. I think I'll have fun, and then got busy at halfway through the year. Gorilla Tag kids make one video, get 10 million subs. Yeah, that's crazy. Firefox and DuckDuckGo is the only ones that are the most open source, but they use YouTube and Google, so it's nothing. Yeah, it is crazy how much of a monopoly that YouTube has, or Google or Alphabet has in general. I forgot about Opera GX. Oh, you guys barking at? Got dogs, yeah. Got two dogs. Two dogs. They're the best. Dags. You got Dags? Such a good movie. Love Snatch. I haven't watched that in a while. Remember I got it on DVD You got a dog? Hell yeah. Oh, Opera GX uses Google for their search results too? Interesting. I haven't tried Opera. Actually don't know what it is. Oh, it's for gamers allegedly? Okay. Built-in limiters for CPU, RAM, and network usages. Interesting. Discord and Twitch sidebar integration. Huh. Alphabet Inc. owns the entire internet like Google, and Alphabet is a legal monopoly. That's crazy. Doesn't Google own YouTube? Yeah, they do. Yeah, it is crazy how much. It is crazy how much that Google, how much power Google has. Yeah, it's just crazy. Internet speed is crazy in Google Plays, YouTube Plays. Yeah. What's my internet speed? Well, apparently, according to my ISP, it should be at a gigabit. Is what it should be. I don't really usually have issues um, with my like downloading or uploading. I believe highly they gave data aggregates to the Trump campaign. Yeah. Oh yeah. Are they disorganized? Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. Like 100, 200, 300. It's a 1,000. I don't know if I can do an internet speed test now and give you an accurate. Since I am streaming, and that'll kind of skew it with the upload and the download of the all the data and all that. I'll remember to do it again when I'm not streaming, and I'll take a look. They say 1,000 megabits a second. They say it's what it should be. Well, up to, but you know how it is with the up to language. But yeah, I think I got to wrap up the stream now. I think I'd like to stream again tomorrow. Um, I got I got some stuff I'm doing. I can't say what time I would be. Um, Probably just around the same time frame. We'll usually say like 1 to 2 o'clock Pacific time. Um, but yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out uh, and watching videos with me, conversations um, about politics. And yeah, it was a good day. I got a little heated, but it was still good. You can cough up $1 billion to Google, you get all the data you want. Massive. Low taper fade. um, I might be getting a haircut tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of liking what my hair's doing lately. It's all like all over the place, even though I washed it today. It's like usually when I wash it, it's like usually really crazy, but it's doing good stuff today. I might keep it. 1 + 1 = window. What? Just some memes that I don't know. One plus one equals window. Let's see. Math memes on Reddit. I don't get it. Okay. The 1 + 1 and then put the equals on top and bottom, and then it looks like a window. That is silly. That is that is a silly meme. Without the little dabs on the one, yeah. Just the stick. Yeah, that's funny. That's actually kind of hilarious. I love numbers. And I love a good clever meme too. So thank you for that, K Luck. Okay, but for real, I gotta log off. I gotta wrap up the stream. 2 + 2 = 4. Damn autocorrect. It is crazy how like you can just type numbers into like a text message or something, and it'll like put the answer for you. 2 + 2 = fish. I'll look that one up. This is the last one I'm looking up though, because I gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta bend both the twos. Oh, and it makes a Jesus fish. Okay. You have to bend them a lot. Yeah, that is for sure. That's funny. That's a good one. Okay, no, but for real, I gotta wrap this up. I gotta go to the bathroom. So yeah, I appreciate everyone that hung out today, watched the political videos, the Trump interview on ABC. It was a good day, and thank you, Kayla and Sock Now. Thank you for following and hanging out. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Eat good food, drink lots of water because it's hot outside and you need to stay hydrated. It is 4:51 p.m. for me. So have a good night or day. Thank you, Owen. You have a good night as well. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.